Well, hello everyone, and good evening. I am so glad to come here this evening tonight. So blessed to be here with Turning a Moment into a Movement. And I am Tia Taylor. And right now, I'm usually on representing the Choice Zone, but tonight I have the very special opportunity to represent Michigan Coalition for Human Rights, which I am co-chair along with Chantel Yancey. And so I'm going to be bringing on the people who are rehumanizing human rights. And so I want to welcome each and every one of you to tonight's segment of Candid Conversations. And we are rehumanizing human rights in 2024. What does that look like? And what are people who actually serve on the board of Michigan Coalition for Human Rights, their board of directors, and they are in the community with their own endeavors. And we, an organization, we collaborate with people and organizations to pursue rights for everyone. And so, just a little bit about Michigan Coalition for Human Rights. We promote awareness of, commitment to, and advocacy for human rights and the environmental rights of planet Earth through education, community organization, and action. MCHR opposes forces that suppress human dignity, freedom, and justice locally and around the world. And we have had so many opportunities to participate in the community collectively because we know that it takes more than just one organization and one person to bring about change. But when we collectively come together, then change can happen and it can happen quicker. And we can have a realization of what we are not only hoping for, what we know is true and what is supposed to be our right. So you can check out Michigan Coalition for Human Rights at mchr.org. And you will check out and see that we've been a part of alternatives to policing. We've done statements of racism in Bloomfield Hills High School. We have recently been in um, Grosse Pointe discussing racism and how to make changes, legislative changes. Alternatives to Policing channel um, that has happened also in May of 2023, and it'll be more of that coming. We talked about white Christian nationalism, interfaith roots, and resistance. And we are also we looked at the critical race theory and we spoke about that and came together on those issues with Victor Ray, the author, co-author of Critical Race Theory. So I just want to just say thank you. Thank you to Janice Green, who is one of our recent board members who so willingly was able to help put this together for this evening because uh, our YouTube has made some changes and we are also on our MCHR website, our not website yet, but on the YouTube page and the Facebook page for Michigan Coalition for Human Rights. So just again, thank you. It is my pleasure to see and witness everybody coming together. Whether you catch this broadcast right now or later, just know that your efforts and what you're doing, whenever you're doing it, it's making a difference in our community. So with no further ado, J Love, come on, you guys, come on out of the room and let's have the conversation. Hi, Matthew Seidel and J Love, Janice Green. I'm so
Hey,
excited to have you guys here tonight. And we're going to start off. I'm going to have Matthew, I want you to introduce yourself a little bit. Of course, I'm going to brag on you a little bit more. But if
oh,
you go ahead, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to Michigan Coalition for Human Rights.
okay. So I'm Matthew. I got introduced to the Michigan Coalition for Human Rights by my older siblings because I am the youngest of five. and my older brothers had the privilege to go to be delegates on the Freedom Tours in like 2012, 2017. We're
Mhm.
struggling with the dates here in my mind.
Yeah.
Uh, but I kind of am following in their footsteps because they were such good advocates. Uh, and now I am a college student at Oakland University, and we have started the first chapter of MCHR at Oakland University, and I'm here to talk about some of the things that we're doing.
Excellent. I'm so excited, Matthew. I know you recently had an opportunity to talk about the LGBTQIA information and making sure people were updated. Very educational segment that happened there recently. I know you have upcoming events that are coming, so I'll let you speak on that in a little while. Just so blessed to have you a part of Michigan Coalition for Human Rights, and having a heart for the community, having a heart for people, and making change wherever you go. So we're excited to have you. And I'll have more questions later, but I'm gonna let Jay Love go ahead. Jay, I know this is your channel. People know about you, but we want to get you out there from Michigan Coalition for Human Rights and let them know what you're doing. So, Jay Love, let us know about the Justice for Gerard movement.
Hi, yes, my name is Jay Love. I am I represent the Justice for Gerard movement, but also because of that movement, we created the podcast called Turning a Moment into a Movement. And so the Justice for Gerard movement was birthed when my son Gerard went to prison for a crime he didn't do. And at that time, I was aware of wrongful convictions, but I wasn't into it. So when it happened to my son, I was just distraught. I didn't know where to turn to. And at that time, which was a little over close to maybe almost, 4 years ago, there was not a lot of stuff out explaining wrongful convictions. No one in my family had never been to prison, so I had no idea what to expect. But because on that journey with Gerard and all the people I met, and some of the mothers that I met had never told their story, had never talked about what was going on with their um, kid wrongful conviction. We created the platform, and then we come on every Friday for turning a moment into a movement. Myself, along with Reverend Tia, Attorney Hugo Matt, Trisha Duckworth from Survivor Speak, Alexandria, who just was awarded just recently, and Dwayne Brooks, who was wrongfully convicted for over 35 years, who just was exonerated. And so we come on to educate, to inspire, to motivate, and to, be there as a safe space for our community to have a conversation about wrongful convictions. So that's me. That's what I do. And I'm
Thank
happy to
you
be
so
here.
much,
Tia.
Jay. Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you. It's been 4 years. It's almost your birthday too, huh? We almost it's coming. It's coming.
It's almost.
It's almost.
Yes.
So I want to say that I appreciate the endeavors that both of you have taken on and your commitment to what you do. Can you share a little bit about maybe current initiatives, Matthew, that you're doing right now at Oakland University?
Absolutely. So currently, we're working on trying to give students the tools they can to advocate and protest on campus. So we are working with to run a Kingian nonviolence training in 2 weeks or so. So that will be on March 8th. We already, we're also really trying to, there's a lot of energy on Oakland University's campus, but unfortunately, everything is kind of in its own little silo. So, the every department just talks to themselves. And so we're really trying to just kind of grab everybody and realize there's more people in the room than I think people realize.
That's very good. Yeah. Yeah. And that's something because sometimes on campus, you don't realize that you got all these different departments and you're just dealing with one another and you don't really reach out all the time to the collective, which is really, really very important. That's a good view. Excellent view. And so what would you say currently, what rights kind of tug at your heart right now?
So here here is kind of how this, whether or not this is good or bad, how we kind of decide what events we want to educate and bring people awareness to, is that we wait for somebody in one of our classes to say something stupid. And
Mhm.
so uh, I, the that was the idea of why we decided to do the trans health panel. And
Mhm.
now our next goal is we would like to talk about racial inequity, and that is something that we're trying to pull together right now for April. Um, and and intermixed in that, we like to we think it's really important to bring up people history, so people have an understanding of what was sacrificed, what came before them, how in some ways that the problems that we're dealing with today are not new, but instead something that we have continually struggling against. And I feel like there's some camaraderie with that, so we're also sharing stuff like a documentary on John Lewis, the John Lewis Get in the Way documentary on campus in the student center in late March.
Oh, excellent, excellent. I think documentaries and in media help to kind of bridge the gap of people who may have some ignorance towards racism or injustices, and I know that's very important. And Jay, go ahead and quote your favorite quote because injustice,
Anywhere
say
is a
it, you
threat to
say it.
justice
The just
everywhere.
let's
Injustice
say it again,
anywhere,
say it again.
injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Yes,
That's
Dr.
true.
King.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, that's Dr.
Yes.
King. Yeah.
And we're young people at OU, and so we there's a lot that we don't know, and especially it's I think a lot sometimes the understanding of like how much a lot of heroes, the older people around us have sacrificed to get us where we are is not
Mhm.
something that we initially appreciate until it's kind of like shown with especially with such an extreme example like John Lewis, who's such a hero, and all that he's done.
Yes, yes. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And Jay, can you share some details about some of the initiatives or current projects that Justice for Gerard movement is continuing to get involved with?
Yes. So, Reverend T, as you know, we're we're always talking about things that leads to wrongful convictions. We try to um, educate the community to give people an idea on things that they can use or to help their loved ones that's incarcerated. Uh, we
Mhm.
did a, um, we did a whole series on junk science. We did a whole series on how those things that leads to wrongful convictions. One of them being eyewitness misidentification. It's like maybe one of the top reasons why a person is wrongfully convicted. And so on those things, and then we have coming up actually on tomorrow, we're going to be talking about mental health. Supporting people who have gone through not only wrongful convictions, but just in the criminal justice system, period. And also another conversation about how important it is to let go of the stigma of mental wellness and to be able to talk and engage with your family members and your community, how we can heal together. I think we're talking about let's heal together. tomorrow. So yeah, so that's what where I'm committed. Even though Gerard, a year after he was released, he passed away. I'm still committed to doing this work because he was a big part of it, and he had a lot of, he was proud of the things that we were doing. So still doing the work.
Mhm. Yeah. And I want to take a moment because Gerard meant so much, and he was very artistic, um, and a lot of um, you could see a lot that he had gone through and the injustices that he inwardly um, was able to display in his art or in his thoughts. And
Mhm.
you were able to carry that out, um, which was not an easy task. I know. And so I'm gonna stay with you for a second, Jay, and just I know what were some of if you can share some of the challenges and obstacles that you encountered with your activism work, and how did you overcome them?
Well, there's a lot of stigmas, even amongst people outside of the criminal justice system, just citizens. A lot of people don't believe that innocent people go to prison. And it happens. And actually, the statistics say is 2 to 10%, but there's really not a way to count it because people take pleas. Innocent people just plea out because they don't want to go, they just want to get home. So we're just talking about the people in prison. We're not talking about people who might have took pleas or, took a bargain or bargained it down or whatever. So that's one thing. He, One thing about Gerard, he was like, I'm not going to say I did something that I didn't do. So he stood on that, even if it meant staying in prison 17 years for it. He was not going to say he did it. Gerard suffered from severe Crohn's disease, so severe that he had to have infusions every month to maintain his health. So when the judge said he would get better health care inside the Jackson prison system, once he got there, his medical records was lost. So that I had to take on a whole new role of advocating because I had to advocate for his health care, you know, making sure that he got the meds. And that was a long journey. I had to even get, my congresswoman involved. She played a big role in it. And outside our communities, Brevetia, we had to write letters and all kinds of stuff
Yeah.
to make sure he got the medical care that he needed. So that was one of the things. And then just being out here advocating, trying to let the community know that these things happen. It's not always, it can be blah, eyewitness, miss eyewitness. Um, but also it can be misconduct. And, police officers lie or prosecutors that do misconduct. We see it all over the United States. And Chicago is a big area right now. They're number one for, I think the last 5 years for exonerations because there's a lot of misconduct within their police force that blatantly lie on people. And so these are all the things that, doing this work, not only do you have to advocate for your loved one, but you also have to stand up for everyone that's going through it and also standing up so nobody else has to go through it, bringing attention and hopefully bringing policies that we can eventually stop wrongful convictions and innocent people going to prison.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, that's so important. It's so important. And it's important to move beyond the challenge, the obstacle, having that mindset to keep going. And Matthew, you have a different situation because you're there at Oakland University with a different I'll say catchment group, different population. Uh, what are some of the challenges that you came across in trying to orchestrate MCHR satellite there at Open University?
I would say one of the problems we ru- that we've run into is uh, sometimes I know when we were putting together our trans and non-binary healthcare event, we initially were trying. We found we were recommended by some trans people, a doctor who works in the he's a clinician, he works in the field, he specializes in this. And it came to our attention that like everything was looking good, we were setting everything up, but it came to our attention that uh has voiced a lot of Twitter opinions, and that were not very good. And so we kind of came into the situation where we're like, wait a minute, we're trying to do something good here, but we're a little bit ignorant and we're a little bit out of our depth. We took a step back, you know, and we worked with the Gender and Sexuality Center at Oakland University, and especially the director there, Blake Elon, who to try to one not do more harm by trying to improve education, and and uh, really key in with the demographics that are most affected by our efforts, and what do they want to have be spoken and to be the education that they want spread out.
So you were working within, trying to work and orchestrate within another organization, with an organization within another.
Yes. We partner with a lot of other organizations on campus to kind of, bring awareness, show unity, and and of course get a little. It also helps our funding applications.
That's right. That's right. I had an opportunity to attend your first event, which I was so happy that there was food.
Yes, and
You,
we always want to feed people. Advocacy is hard work, and people get hungry.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I came with an appetite that day, so I was quite pleased, quite pleased. So I'm going to ask you what I know you had your first event, and how was that? It was, I called it a success. Tell me what success, because I believe when it comes to social justice, that it's you have to honor the small achievements along the way, big or small. Acknowledge each and every one. What achievements did you feel, Matthew, that you achieved just in just this first part of having MCHR at Oakland University?
Well, well, I think the most important thing is that we by advertising and by putting this event on, we showed that there is a larger ally community for trans people on campus than uh there was that they might have visually been before. uh there is the inspiration for this event was, we were listening to two pre-meds talking to each other, and they were talking about how gender dysphoria is a mental illness and shouldn't be dealt with by doctors, and should just be dealt with by therapists. And of course, that kind of rhetoric is just absolutely abhorrent and terrible. And that by doing this, I think we demystified some of the information about this, and we also show that there is a commitment of of the student body, and not just to supporting trans people and non-binary people, and not just the a statement of diversity and inclusion sent out in an email that nobody reads.
Yeah, yeah. So your next event coming up, What do you think one of the milestones, how would you describe success for that next event?
I would describe success as I'm excited to see the energy in the room. We've been in talks with the College Dems of OU, the Young Democratic Socialists, the Gender and Sexuality Alliance, um, um, uh, the Grizzlies for Choice. It's a Planned Parenthood um, subsidiary, and so we're trying to get like the energy and education so they can feel like they can go beyond the campus and kind of see there is something more when they want to advocate at a larger level. And I will define success as the energy and the the camaraderie and the awareness that we're all here together and we're all fighting for similar and causes and human rights everywhere.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Jay, I know that you've been at this now for 4 years, and what I mean, I know you could have a long list of challenges and obstacles. Give us some, especially when beginning. Um, what are some of the challenges, the hurdles you had to jump over, and how did you overcome them?
Well, one of the first hurdles was being able to speak out, because first you're so afraid, but it's bigger than you. And so, and it became almost bigger than Gerard because it was just so many people. So that was the first, just being able to have the confidence to speak out, to say this is wrong. And, we shouldn't be treated like this. Innocent people should not go to prison, And then when you see people that's coming home after 20, 30, 40, 50 years, um, you're looking at that like it's crazy. And then people don't realize when you say, well, they should sue, they're they're suing, but who's paying for it? That's us. So, and getting that out because they're whoever the agency that wronged the person, they are the person that should be in our minds. We think they're responsible, but we are the tax-paying citizens are the ones that's responsible. A young man just won a $10 million verdict the other day for a crime he didn't do. The citizens of Michigan is going to pay that $10 million. Not Wayne County, not Detroit police. Everybody in Michigan is going to, put in for that $10 million. So guess what? Something else is going to get cut or it's going to be taken away because somebody else did something that was, wrong. And so, when we come on and we talk about these things, we're having a discussion because that's where we need to start. And people don't understand, like, they want to just run in. No, first we need to have a discussion and we need to calmly organize and figure out, how we can approach these matters without all the emotion, but to get the work done.
Yeah,
So that was one, those are some of the obstacles to get people to listen and to be
yeah,
comfortable enough to have these conversations.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I think it was an eye opener um, when walking with you through that process, not realizing how many people were actually affected by wrongful conviction. The numbers are just too great, and uh, and I think that kind of solidifies, you know, why you keep going. It
yeah.
seems like it was just me. It seems like there's no end to the
Yeah,
amount of yeah,
just when you
yeah,
think you could breathe, then a more horrific story comes up. You're like, oh my God, where did this one come from? And
Yeah.
so you're like, okay, we got to get back out here, Reverend Tia. And so, when you said rehumanizing, when we're having this human rights, you know, rehumanizing people that are coming home that is innocent, that was looking, that was being looked at as criminal, that have been criminalized and dehumanized. How do you get them, to turn those tables? It starts with us. It starts with how we look at it, the conversations that we have, listening and changing the narratives, and once we can get these conversations, even in our community, Reverend Tia, in the beginning when we start talking about this and you join in with me, a lot of people were still like, how you know they didn't do it, people say,
Mhm.
but then the numbers, you can't deny the numbers. It's staggering. And
Mhm.
so um then after a while, people were calling me like, hey, this happened to me, or this, I never said anything about it, but this is
Yeah.
my loved one. So it's getting people to look at it in a human way so we
Mhm.
can make a human approach to change. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jay. I don't know if you have the towards the end, I would like to, at the end, play Crystal's voice, if you can,
okay.
that we had on the show last week. Because we are on this platform, and that's one of the campaigns that you are presently doing. And so we can play that towards the end in about ten minutes or so. So thank you so much for that. I think that collaboration is key. Matthew, you mentioned a couple of things, a couple of times about collaboration coming together. Can you speak a little more definite about some of the collaborations you've done? And that's what Michigan Coalition for Human Rights, that's what we do. We collaborate in the community with others to make social justice a real thing. And so, can you just talk about some of the collaborations that you've done at Oakland University? And first with the college. So,
Well, of course, we're at the college, but uh, um, uh, I think with collaboration, it's really important to so you're not alone. You're not. It's not like you're crazy. The world that has problems, and you're not the only one noticing it. Um, and it's important to recognize and have allies, especially, it can be such a a dehumanizing or and burn you out process when you're fighting for something, and you feel alone, and it's you're hitting the brick wall over and over again. But we, at Oakland University, we some of the examples of collaboration, we're working for voter registration when it comes to the fall, as we gear up to the next presidential election. Um, we we're active on campus when it comes to, working with the Pride Month events that are coming up. So we have like these are more friendly and kind of like events, like we have a BB Queer
yeah.
that's coming up in later in March, and there's always the Oakland University is this is the Gender and Sexuality Center's like a big event every year. We host a drag show for students and any interested um, individuals who want to come. My mother joined us last year going, um, and we're trying to build more of those connections as we grow and evolve, and we're working very diligently to to really become a more united front on campus.
Beautiful. Excellent. Excellent. I think, and it sounds like you're engaging all of the So your collaboration is with the many different social justice groups that are already existing on campus. Is that correct?
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
also want to bring attention to the many professors who have been supportive, and the classes that are going on that are really improving the education of people all over the campus. And so we're constantly emailing to professors and having these little relationships with, some of these people I've never met face to face, but we have a lot of back and forth.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, and it shows relationship. Relationship is very important.
I
Um,
I I agree.
it's very
It's the
important.
face to face that, that, brings someone out on the picket line, you know?
Mhm.
It's what makes it human, the
Yeah,
humanity of it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Beautiful. And Matthew, you've been coming to MCHR through the years. What really made you want to be a part of Michigan Coalition for Human Rights?
Well, for me, what made me wanna become a part of the MCHR is I've always wanted to do advocacy. I come from I talked earlier about, how I come from a family who's very active and, very, social justice oriented. And I found I was myself very active in high school. Like I was campaigning for state representative and I did the internships and I found that it felt it came to the point where I was putting all this work and it felt almost like I'm, walking up an endless hill, like a Atlas and the boulder kind of situation. And and then the pandemic hit and I really got burnt out. And my my hope with now is to find the community to help work with it, with and also the experience. I'm not I am 20 years old. I am by far not the first 20-year-old to try to do something to change the world. And there's or improve it in any way. And there's a lot of mentorship and experience with MCHR and resources that I feel are valuable not only to myself, but all the students at Oakland University.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow. Appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you, your advocacy, and what you're doing at Oakland University. I'm telling you, we are really excited and about the things to come. So, Jay, I'm back to you and the collaboration. I know that you had to collaborate with many people and just give us a few. I know.
Well, yes. Well, we had last year the Love Gathering, our second one. The first one, of course, is when Gerard had passed away, and then we're going to have it again this year. But the Love Gathering to not only celebrate Gerard life, but also those who celebrate love and celebrate advocacy and wrongful, you know, the wrongful conviction community. And then also those that are may not be wrongfully convicted, but those that are over sentenced and medically frail and those who have mental conditions that are in prison, to bring light to that community, to humanize people. We had art from people that were inside. We collaborated with Survivor Speaks, um, Silent Cry, um, a lot of different um, agencies that are also committed to the fight of criminal justice reform. Last year, and we're going to do it again this year. We don't have our date yet, but it's coming this summer, and it was really an awesome event and something that we plan on doing every summer, the Love Gathering. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that. And Jay, I know that you've reached out, gotten information from authors and people who are outside of Michigan that have helped to educate that are making some differences. You want to mention a couple, that come to your mind?
We had a attorney Elizabeth. I can't think of her last name right now. It's really escaping my mind, but she was from North Carolina. Very strong attorney that fights federally wrongful convictions. And she came on the show, and she gave us a lot of info, even info about Gerard's case. We have our friends from Minneapolis that come on. And we're trying to cross this bridge to show people that these wrongful convictions are not only happening in Michigan, which Michigan has been number 2 for the most exonerations for a minute, but not only in Michigan, they're happening all over the United States. And so we have guests to come on. Marvina Hayes, who is over the wrongful conviction group, who is the founder in Minneapolis, and her brother, who was just exonerated. He was wrongfully convicted at 16 years old.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of people, even Dwayne Brooks, who comes on with us. He's from New York. And, since he's been on home, I think that was like September, he was exonerated last year. He's here and, all over the place, Atlanta, everywhere. So yeah,
Yeah.
Reverend,
Yeah.
we're reaching
It's
outside of
it's
our,
exciting.
yeah, to talk to people, to bring everyone together, because
Mm-hmm.
we're stronger together.
Yes. Yes. And there's always an inward, intrinsic motivation. What motivates you to to keep going? What is the motivation that helps you just keep moving, Shay?
So love, one thing, Repetia, my son, myself, my family, my community. But also, when it happened to me, I was just like, I don't want this to happen to anybody else, because it was so hurtful and devastating to not only me, my family. And so, we're still, healing from the trauma of that whole journey. But I just don't want this to happen to anybody else. So if I could leave some information, if I could put stuff out there where people can get to, or um, to connect with someone else that can help them, or just to educate our community, like these things happen and we can make different choices. We don't have to always be at, at somebody else beck and call. We can come to work together and we can change. And so, and I truly feel that change is important and necessary. So that's the reason why I continue to do this. Even after Gerard passed, I was like, I don't know if I could do it, but I could not do it, because I just
Mm,
needed to continue this in his honor and his legacy. So,
yeah, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for continuing. And Matthew, at such a young age, when there's so, I remember going up to the campus and thinking the last time I think I was up at OU, I was at a basketball game. And I said to myself, how does Matthew do it with your class schedule and the things that you do personally? You're moving and doing something you're not getting paid for. What is the inward motivation that keeps you going?
For me, we have to, as a young person, we have to live in this world, for hopefully the next 80 years, right? And it's the same way you want to clean your room, you want to try to fix things and improve the world, leave it better, than it got here, and but I think the biggest is how I think I approach it differently now. When I was younger, I really focused so much on the national things and the biggest problems. And it can sometimes, I was even having a conversation this morning with somebody who was like, there's so many issues, and sometimes I feel bad that I don't know about everything, or I can't do something for everything. And and I think that it's important to, especially when we're in this, it's so everything can get very overwhelming very quickly, and it's
Yeah.
important to take a step back and say, okay, we're not going to try to change the entire world all at once. The world will crush us. It's let's start with our backyard and our front yard. And so I really try to say, okay, I go to this college every single day, Oakland University. I should just on this campus alone, I will try to make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
good.
Beautiful. That's wonderful, Matthew. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Jay, what the inward um, movement you have, what inspiring words or advice can you give to activists?
Wow. Keep going. Keep going. I know it's going to get tough, and it's going to sound, some days it's going to feel like nobody is listening, right? But just keep going, because it's not about the many, it's about the few. If you can change one person mind, if you can change one person, then you did a lot, because that one person can reach another person. And that person can reach somebody else. So you're not trying to force anybody or anything or anybody. I'm just trying to offer you some information. And this information could possibly change your life, make life a lot better for not only yourself, but for others. So that's what's
Yeah.
my motivation to keep me going, like Matthew said, it's not about, the whole world all the time. I mean, you look at the whole world and like, oh my God, but right where you are, within your families, within your neighbor, whoever, you know
Yeah.
right there, you can make a difference. So,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
difference, that little bit can change the whole world. So,
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you are the difference. You are the difference maker, I tell you. And Matthew, I'm excited about what you're doing. I know you have a call to action, some things that are coming up. Maybe we can put those two things on the screen. And Matthew, you can say a little bit about each one.
Well,
Um,
yeah, this is our event that we spoke about earlier. This is our Kingian nonviolence training at Oakland University, and we're hoping to really get some like camaraderie and some action going, and also take a moment to acknowledge our history. The uh, civil rights did not happen overnight. It's a lot of people sacrificing and a lot of people disciplined uh, that got us here today. Uh, I, of course, it's more than just Martin Luther King. It's even though we do use his image here because popularity,
yeah,
but it's all the people who have sacrificed for us to get where we are today, and we can't forget that.
yeah,
mhm.
And
beautiful. And then, mhm,
this was our event that we ran. This was our trans and non-binary experiences accessing healthcare, and so this was our event that we ran earlier in February, and I just you know I'm proud of our graphic design, and it's quite difficult. So I always like to show what we did and I like to keep a record. So
yeah,
when we get to the end and everybody's like, well, what did you do? And people, as people forget, we can say, look at all that we did. Here's all that we have accomplished. And it's nice
yeah.
to do a little bit of a victory lap to remind us, keep us motivated.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you so much. And Jay, I know we have a call to action. You want to talk about a couple of call to actions, and then I'm going to say goodbyes, and then we'll play so we can hear from one of our loved ones who's currently serving time wrongfully
Okay.
and dealing with the atrocities of the female prison that has
Yeah.
mold and all kind of um, unhealthy conditions. And
Yes.
I know, Matthew, you were talking about health access, and in all of these situations, Michigan
Yeah.
Coalition for Human Rights is looking
So
at, those kinds of things. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to say thanks, Reverend Tia. And I want, to leave this information. If you want to learn more
Mhm.
about Gerard's wrongful conviction story, you can go to www.change.org/the justice for Gerard. There's a petition there with, about the story and about the reason why we're here today. If you also, you can join us on tomorrow on turning a moment into a movement at 8:30 p.m. back on this link where we come together to have the conversation. We're going to be talking about mental wellness. Let's get better together. And we have our panel. And we're going to introduce Coach T. Nicole, who's going to be coming
Mhm.
back next month to join us. So that's turning a moment into a movement at 8:30 p.m. on Friday. And also, Reverend T is talking about Crystal Clark. I met
Yeah.
Crystal about a year ago, and Crystal, she is a woman who is at Huron Valley Prison in Michigan, who has been suffering from the black mold. She's very sick. And
Mhm.
so she's in a process. The group has gotten together to rally around her and rally for her medical clemency. But the conditions inside that prison is horrific because there's so much mold in there. And so as you see, this was Crystal before she was sick inside, and now how her face is deformed and swollen and things comes out her ear, pus and blood is constantly coming out. She's very sick inside. I was very concerned because I hadn't spoke with her in a couple of days, so I'm waiting to hear from her. But if you want to connect with Crystal Denise Clark, this is her information at Women's Huron Valley. And Reverend Tia, you ready for me to play?
Yep. In just
Uh,
1 second, I just want to tell everybody, make sure you keep active with Michigan Coalition for Human Rights, where we collaborate all over Michigan to assure and to stand in the gap for those who are treated unfairly. And so you can look at our website and make sure you get our newsletter so you can be made abreast of what is going on. Like and share. Listen to us on Facebook and on YouTube, and that's at mchr.org. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure as co chair for Michigan Coalition for Human Rights. And let's listen as we can hear one of our fellow human beings reaching out because injustice is happening right now.
Hi, my name is Crystal Denise Clark. My MA number is 435064. I'm in WHV, the Valley of Death. Still haven't got no help. Still haven't went to the heart specialist. It's like my body is like declining. It's not doing good. My heart not doing good. My chest, I've been telling them I'm bringing up blood. I'm having these real bad nosebleeds. My eyesight, I'm really scared. My ears is so bad, y'all. It's so bad. And I'm begging them to send me to the hospital. My body should not be swollen like this and staying swollen like this. I'm begging them and telling them it's something is not right. It's something not right. Why y'all not listening to me? It's their fault. They don't want to send me to the hospital because they know the hospital gonna show what's going on, and they in here trying to act like there's nothing wrong when you can see it all on my body. You can see how my body is how I'm looking. I'm tired. I'm tired of laying in this bed that I barely sometimes can't even get out the bed. My bunkie had to help me. This is unstoppable. Just sound and ringing, I'm hitting my ears, how bad my ears is swollen, and they infected. You can see the stuff in there. And nothing is being done at all. Nothing. They ain't giving me no antibiotics, no ear drops. They won't give me nothing. They trying to just act like I'm just normal. And then I went to see the mental health doctor. Like, I'm like, is you here to help me, or are you here to make it seem like I'm crazy? Because ain't nothing crazy about me. Y'all have been in black and white with every medical and every blood, everything y'all took, it came back that something is wrong. She's like, oh, well, your anxiety high, trying to give me some psych medication. I'm like, I don't need no psych medication. I need to get to a hospital. Like, I need to get to a hospital. They trying to dope me up on psych medication like I'm crazy. This is unacceptable what they are doing here. I said, and she seen this. She said, oh, you swollen, your face. She seen everything, but you want to give me some psych medication that made me like a zombie around here, like everybody else, and like and make me sleepy so I won't think. This is sickness. Like, should know what had to go through this. We matter. I matter. Should know what had to be treated like this to go through this. And they know I'm speaking out about it, so they keep on like acting like, oh, like it's a mental. Ain't nothing. Y'all wasn't playing on my mental. Y'all neglecting me. Y'all been neglecting me for too long. I've been telling them about this mold and how it's affecting me. And now you got proof, and now you got the medical records, and you still don't do nothing. The doctor can sit in your face and sound and cover your help up and not do anything. Nodules, they are growing in my throat. You can see them moving where I talk. They so swole. They are growing. Still having no follow up for that. The lumps in my chest is not in my chest. What they said. Still no follow up for that. This gotta stop. What they doing to me. This. I need to get to a hospital so I can get the right help before it's too late. I'm telling y'all, whatever my body is doing is not normal. This is not right. I just want to tell y'all, I'm just grateful to have y'all in my life and y'all support. I really love all of you, and I'm praying that y'all can stay by our side and fight with us through this. Fight with us and don't give up on us, because we need y'all. My name is Crystal Denise Clark. My MA number is 435064. I'm in WHB, the Valley of Death.
These commentaries are recorded by Prison Radio.